Imagine this: 1. A Hollywood icon whose name became synonymous with raw truth and unparalleled acting prowess, a man whose roles often forced us to ponder notions of honor, loyalty, and the gritty realities of human nature. This is Robert De Niro, a legend whose very presence on screen commands respect, whose nuanced performances capture the complexities of both heroes and villains, and whose public persona has always been one of quiet intensity, until he met his match. The other, a real estate mogul who didn't just enter the world of politics but spectacularly turned it upside down, known for his audacious, unscripted style, an insatiable craving for attention, and an uncanny ability to shatter all established norms and decorum. This is Donald Trump, a figure as polarizing as he is prominent. This isn't just a disagreement of opinions, a polite debate between political adversaries. No, this is a true clash of fundamental values, a raw, bare-knuckle fight for what each believes is the very soul of America, unfolding before the eyes of millions in the epic, ongoing saga of the conflict between Robert De Niro and Donald Trump. The first Salvos, when an actor saw disaster, sparks that ignited a fire. It all began in 2016, when the political landscape of the United States began to change irreversibly. Donald Trump launched his presidential campaign with rhetoric that many perceived as destabilizing and destructive. This rhetoric triggered in Robert De Niro not just disagreement, but a profound, almost visceral outrage. The actor, whose roles often highlighted the darker sides of human nature and corruption, seemed to see something truly sinister in Trump, the embodiment of an antithesis to everything he believed in. That viral video, recorded for anonymous content, became widely known, where De Niro, with a face full of fury and indignation, calls Trump a dog, pig, conman, blatantly stupid, national disaster, and expresses a shocking, almost primal desire to punch him in the face. This moment was like an explosion that stunned millions, forcing them either to give a standing ovation or angrily turn away. The internet literally erupted with comments and discussions, and this video received 3 likes within the first few hours of its publication, foreshadowing the scale of this conflict, which promised to be long-lasting and intensely personal. De Niro made it clear, he wasn't going to stay silent, and this was merely the prelude to a real storm. Escalation, F***K Trump. On stage in a Twitter war, the public theater of enmity after Trump's election as president, De Niro didn't back down. On the contrary, he became one of Hollywood's loudest and most consistent critics, transforming every public appearance into a kind of manifesto against the sitting president. His statements landed like thunderbolts, constantly attracting attention and provoking heated debates, as few expected such frank and expletive-laden political expression from an actor of his caliber. One of the most striking and, without exaggeration, shocking episodes occurred in 2018 at the Tony Awards ceremony. When De Niro took the stage to introduce Bruce Springsteen, he defiantly raised his fists and shouted, "I'm gonna say one thing, FK Trump." The hall erupted in applause and cheers from one side, and angry boos from the other. This moment instantly made headlines worldwide, solidifying the actor's image as an tireless fighter against the ex-president. This wasn't just an actor expressing his opinion. It was an unprecedented public statement by a cultural icon challenging authority, disregarding traditions of diplomacy or etiquette. Furthermore, in numerous interviews and public appearances, De Niro didn't mince words, expanding his accusations. He called Trump a gangster, narcissistic king, psychopath, and a dangerous person who plays games with our lives, comparing him to the worst criminals he himself had played in movies. His contempt for Trump was so profound that it went beyond mere political opposition, transforming into a kind of moral crusade. Even during ceremonies like the Oscars, when Trump's name was mentioned, cameras often caught De Niro's grim expression as he pointedly refused to applaud, demonstrating his unwavering stance. This animosity often extended beyond verbal sparring. De Niro was seen at anti-Trump rallies, and his criticism wasn't limited to the president but also extended to his administration and supporters, whom the actor sometimes called blind, indicating growing polarization. Naturally, Donald Trump couldn't leave such attacks unanswered. In his usual sharp and direct style, he responded on Twitter, using his account as a platform for counteroffensives. Trump called De Niro a person with a very low IQ and claimed he'd got too many punches to the head, obviously hinting at the actor's boxing roles, as if seeking to diminish his professionalism. He also mocked De Niro's acting career, suggesting his films were losing popularity, and branded him a liberal celebrity who hates America. These exchanges frequently made headlines, fueling a whirlwind of media attention around their feud, which resembled an endless, no-holds-barred boxing match where each blow aimed not only to inflict damage but also to generate as much noise as possible. The roots of the feud, more than politics, a clash of paradigms. This long-standing feud between De Niro and Trump is multifaceted and profound. It's not merely confined to ordinary ideological differences, though they are certainly the foundation. The ideological abyss. De Niro is a longtime and consistent liberal, a supporter of the Democratic Party, who advocates for social justice, equality, environmental protection, and inclusivity. His views are deeply rooted in the ideals of American democracy, which, in his opinion, were threatened during Trump's tenure. For De Niro, Trump embodies a rejection of these ideals, a threat to the nation's moral compass. Trump, conversely, represents the populist, conservative wing of the Republican Party, with its nationalistic rhetoric, emphasis on America first, strict immigration policies, and less regulated economy. Their views on politics, society, and values are diametrically opposed, creating an ideological chasm that seems impossible to bridge. Personal incompatibility. De Niro appears to be deeply offended not only by Trump's policies but also by his personal conduct, rhetoric, his treatment of women, minorities, institutions of power, such as the judiciary and the press, and journalists. He perceives Trump as a threat to fundamental democratic principles, as a person who undermines the foundations of American society through his actions and words. This animosity is so personal that the actor has repeatedly stated his principled refusal to meet or cooperate with Trump, as if his mere presence would be a defilement. Trump, for his part, tolerates no criticism, especially from celebrities whom he often considers elites detached from reality, and responds with aggression and humiliation to any attacks, galvanizing his base of supporters. The role of public figures and cultural impact. Both are enormously influential public figures, each in their own sphere. Their conflict attracts colossal media attention, creating a kind of escalation spiral. Each new comment or response fuels the flames even more, transforming their personal animosity into an element of the national political landscape. This feud not only reflects but also fuels the cultural and political divisions within American society, becoming a symbol of a broader culture war between the liberal elite and the conservative populist base. It goes beyond simple news, it becomes part of the collective consciousness, shaping narratives and opinions. Consequences and future confrontation. Will this war ever end? The conflict between Robert De Niro and Donald Trump remains one of the most prominent and protracted public feuds in American politics and show business. It is a vivid reflection of the deep schism within American society, where even celebrities become active participants in political battles, and where personal views intertwine with national politics, often intensifying it to extremes. Despite Donald Trump no longer being president, De Niro continues to express his disdain for him, indicating that the conflict is not only political but also deeply personal for both sides, a kind of vendetta in the actor's eyes. De Niro has repeatedly stated that he will not forgive Trump for his actions and words, and continues to warn about the dangers he believes Trump poses to democracy and the rule of law. For instance, his recent statements have become even harsher amid Trump's legal battles, suggesting that the actor views this as a test of the strength of American institutions. Given the approaching new presidential elections in the United States, where Trump is again a probable candidate, it can be expected that this war of words will not only continue but may also intensify, transforming into an even fiercer public struggle. This story is still far from its conclusion, and each new episode promises to be no less shocking than the previous ones, as the stakes for both sides appear exceptionally high. What do you think? Is this confrontation merely a theatrical show for the public, fueled by the media, or is it a reflection of genuine, deep political and personal disagreements that are eroding American society from within? And can the public feud of such iconic figures as De Niro and Trump truly influence the choice of the average voter in the upcoming elections, shaping their worldview beyond the confines of traditional political debates? Share your thoughts in the comments, and to not miss out on new, equally intriguing stories, subscribe to the channel.